medley by the Bethel Revival Choir. So apart from this being one of the favorites of Selom and Daddy sitting in front of me, there are a number of people who swear fealty to this song. So good morning, Ray Wilson Enyaminko at Enyaminko Ray on Twitter, and Joseph Yao Frimpong as JY Frimpong on Twitter. So guys, I have played the song, okay? And of course to Mr. Emmanuel Fiagbenu. Emmanuel, your wife is very connected, let me just say that. But we are going to be talking to Selom Adadivo about a number of issues that are of importance to you, of course, if you're interested in making a little more money and if you're a customer of MTN. But before we get into that, the internet is like a highway for your business. Have you ever spent hours downloading your business files or missed a tight deadline because of your unreliable internet? Now that could be a potential opportunity out the window. With MTN Business, your business cruises on the most reliable, high-speed, secure, dedicated internet service in Ghana. Plus, we offer round-the-clock technical support customized just for your business needs. Enjoy premium internet access specially designed for your business today, everywhere you go. Visit mtn.com.gh/business or call 0244 308 111 for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Now, you've been hearing about this over the past few months. We've been telling you about it. We've been giving you updates about it. MTN Ghana, which is now Scancom PLC, is the leading provider of voice, data, and mobile money services in Ghana. In line with its vision and mission, the company continues to deliver bold new digital services to make customers' lives a whole lot brighter. A few months ago, the company launched its initial public offering. Just yesterday, they were listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Now, we have been told there are a lot of interesting results and highlights of the IPO, including a lot of groundbreaking records, and we'd like to understand what this is all about and what it means for Ghanaians. We are very privileged to have the CEO of MTN Ghana, Selom Adadivo, here in studio to talk about the successful listing of Scancom PLC. Good morning, Selom.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Now, before you go, I'd like to have a few minutes of Agbaja with you, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, bring it on.
Okay, be careful what you agree to. I would edit that. Now, it's been a very hectic time, I can imagine, since you joined MTN just 2 months ago. It seems like so long now. But how has it been?
Oh, it's been very good, actually. I've had a great experience over the last 2 months. First of all, let me just acknowledge my predecessor, Mr. Ebenezer Chumasante, for the fantastic handover and the diligence in making sure that my settling in process is smooth. And also to my direct team, they've been super supportive, and all the staff of MTN have been very welcoming, and I got to give that credit to them.
Great. Now, you came right in the middle of this IPO. So how would you describe it?
Actually, yes, it's a unique experience for me personally, but it's a fantastic opportunity as well, not just for MTN, but also for Ghanaians. So I'm very excited and looking forward to the next phase of the business.
Now, I'm curious to know, can you share the highlights of the IPO with us and the results?
Absolutely. So before I even get into the highlights, I mean, there have been a number of ways to describe the IPO, and a number of words have been used over the last few days since we started sharing the results. And amazing has been a word that I've heard a lot. Groundbreaking, for example. But I'd like to focus on one word, which is historic. And historic simply means this IPO was historic, and I'll share the details of this with you. But let me just give you some facts about the results. First of all, just to remind all our listeners, the regulator set a minimum threshold for us to achieve success, which was 10% of the total shareholdings, which represents an amount of 347 million Ghana cedis. So the results were we actually raised 1.15 billion Ghana cedis, which was 3 times that minimum that I just referred to. The more exciting things about the results are we actually had 128,000 applicants for the IPO. And this has some uniqueness in itself, but I'll go into that in a few minutes. Of the 128,000, 127,000 are Ghanaians, which is a 99.7% of the total applicants were actually Ghanaians.
That's very refreshing.
And as you know, I mean, one of the bases of the IPO was ensuring that we're able to get as many Ghanaians to participate, and this was a challenge that we at MTN took on ourselves. The third interesting thing about the results is we introduced mobile money as part of the process, and for various reasons. One of the reasons was to ensure that we gave any Ghanaian anywhere in the country the opportunity to subscribe and to be part of this great milestone. 85% of the applications came through mobile money. And for me, this is really a democratization of the financial industry and how we can actually include people who would otherwise not be included. So I would say from those statistics, definitely historic, but that's not all. In those, if I may, just add a couple of facts around what this actually means for MTN, but also for Ghana. The first one is, this is the first telecoms company that has actually listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And in the history of MTN, there have been several firsts, and this is one of them. But also, this is the first time that an IPO has launched in all 10 regions in Ghana. And we did this primarily to be able to ensure that, one, we educate the masses, but also give everyone the chance to be part of this great opportunity. The third one here is that it's the first time that any company in Ghana has raised over 1 billion cedis on the Ghana Stock Exchange. To be precise, the second largest raise on the Ghana Stock Exchange was just over 300 million Ghana cedis. So again, over 3 times that number. Fourth, this is the first time any company on the Ghana Stock Exchange has attracted more than 100,000 shareholders, and this came in at 128,000. But also more than 100,000 shareholders being Ghanaian. Finally, mobile money. This is the first time, not just on the Ghana Stock Exchange, not just in Ghana, not just in West Africa, not just in Africa, but in the world, that mobile money has been used in this form in an IPO. And we're proud of this great achievement and the fact that we've been able to democratize, I guess, an equity raise on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
So, I see 2 very, very refreshing things. It means a lot for the financial sector because the stock exchange itself is something that needs more attention. It needs more Ghanaians to be involved in seeing something break that 100,000 ceiling, more money being pushed into the stock exchange. And then, of course, it means a lot for mobile money as well, which is growing exponentially every year. But really, looking at all these records that have been broken, what does this mean for Ghanaians?
A couple of things. I think, first of all, if you think about the economy today and the fact that the average Ghanaian has very limited financial options, this actually changes the landscape of the options that the average Ghanaian has. And this is a great example of perhaps what other companies can do to actually be more inclusive when it comes to Ghanaians in terms of financial instruments. The second thing is, MTN has always been a company that has looked out for leading the way. And again, in this regard, leading the way and encouraging Ghanaians to participate in something that, ordinarily wouldn't have been a first choice option. We're looking forward to this new phase of the business and building a new relationship with not only our customers, but also our shareholders.
Great. So this relationship, I'm sure, has begun with the form of engagement that you had in the run-up to this IPO. Can you describe the process and what accounted for this huge success?
Yeah, absolutely. When the minimum threshold was set, which was 347 million, that minimum threshold itself was larger than the most successful IPO up until that point. So, of course, we at MTN recognized the fact that this was going to be this was going to need something different, right? So the first thing was, how do we market this IPO to be able to do something different? So there was a lot of marketing effort, the launch in all the 10 regional capitals, shareholder workshops, social media engagements, TV, radio, print, a lot of effort went into ensuring that the marketing was done well. But not just the marketing. The second thing is, if you think about the average Ghanaian and their understanding of investing in shares is actually quite low. So part of that marketing also emphasized the education element, so people actually understood what they were going in for. I mean, buying shares is very different from investing in treasury bills, for example. So this ensured that we got the education across so that people are actually quite comfortable. This is something we have to continue to do more of, because the reality is that understanding may still not be at a level that it should be in, and we're looking for the support of the Ghana Stock Exchange and the other companies that are listed to help us do that.
So what do you say when critics say you did not meet your target?
Well, if you look at first of all, the minimum threshold for success was 347 million. We achieved 3 times that. Secondly, no company in Ghana in the history of the stock exchange has raised over 1 billion Ghana cedis, and we've done that. But what's actually more interesting is if you take the Ghana cedi value of all the stocks invested in the Ghana Stock Exchange since the Ghana Stock Exchange was launched, 1.15 billion is almost double that amount. So it's very hard for me to understand why that comment would be made. I mean, this is historic. This has never happened. This is broken new ground, and I think we need to embrace that.
Great. So how were shares allotted to successful applicants after the offer?
Well, the allotment process takes, your application and looks at the available shares. Fortunately for us, we had a 35% allocation. We achieved 12.5%. And therefore, everyone who applied for shares received the amount that they actually applied for. So that process was pretty straightforward in the end.
Oh, okay. It sounds pretty simple. So has the trading begun?
Trading began yesterday. Within the first hour, we had 100 shares traded at about a 4% increase in equity value.
Okay. What about those who want to buy now?
So to buy, it's pretty straightforward now. Trading has opened up, so people will be trading your shares. If you go through the Ghana Stock Exchange or through the brokers, you can actually start to buy shares. So if you weren't part of the original IPO, you still have an opportunity to deal in the secondary market.
So there's that opportunity for people to buy?
Absolutely, that opportunity for people to buy.
Yes. Okay, so before we take the Agbaja song again so that we dance,
Sure.
Is there any final message you have?
No, I think my final message is just to say thanks to our customers, our valued customers of MTN, but also to welcome all our newly minted shareholders, 128,000 of them, all over the country, to the MTN family. And we're looking forward to building a fantastic relationship and breaking new grounds in the future.
And speaking of those 128,000 of them, 1,000 people, about 99.7% of them are Ghanaians.
That's correct, yes.
Wow, interesting. You're sitting inside 99.7. Yeah, so we are very, very, very proud to be part of this process, and proud to be part of the process of seeing the success story. It is said, and I don't often like talking about my company too much, but we are also, giants in our field, just like MTN is. I think the last number was 25 million subscribers for MTN.
No, 17 million.
It's 25 million Ghanaians. So 17 million subscribers for MTN. And of course, Multimedia Enjoy FM is also a giant in the field. So, it's great to have a partner like this, which is also doing so well in the field in which it works. Now, before we dance the Agbaja, I just have one question. Let's call it a last minute question.
Sure.
Please, when are you coming back? So that we talk well.
I'll send you a WhatsApp very soon.
You send me a WhatsApp message?
Yes, sir.
I would have
man to man.
Man to man. Okay. When the WhatsApp number that I give you, it's of mobile money and everything. So just keep that in mind.
I would do that as well. I'll test my mobile money transfer.
Oh, okay. Please, we are playing. I'm not asking for any monetary inducements from Mr. Selman for please those listening. I beg you. Okay, so we're gonna play some nice music and enjoy, and then we'll go for this break and we'll come back and we'll have Kasana Chumampofo. But for those of you on Facebook, watching us on Facebook and YouTube, watch Selom go down on his Agbaja moves. You need to be standing for this one.
I